Have you been wondering if the Woobles kits are good for beginners to learn how to crochet toys? Me too. And today, I'm not just going to give you my opinion, but I'm using my very own husband as a guinea pig to test out the Woobles. He's a total newbie. He's never picked up a crochet hook in his life, and we're going to see if he can learn how to crochet with this kit. I cannot wait to start this experiment, but before we jump in, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the Woobles and what makes them different than any other beginner crochet kit on the market. I'm coming to you from the future because I want to make sure that you stay till the end of the video, because there is one concern that I have about the Woobles kits that after I did the little experiment with my husband, we discovered, and this may be the one thing you might want to change if you're going to use this kit or you're going to buy it for someone else. Justine, too, founded the Woobles company in July of 2020, but her love of crocheting began when she picked up the craft as a way to relieve her stress when she worked at Google as a designer. She noticed that crocheting not only helped her cope with the pressures of her job, but it also increased her self-confidence. She started selling crochet kits on Etsy, and it eventually morphed into the company that it is today. By the time Justine and her husband appeared on the hit TV show Shark Tank in September of 2022, the company had already amassed $5.3 million in sales. During the Shark Tank appearance, Justine said this: "Learning to crochet reminded me that I still have it in me to learn something new. Building back my confidence through crochet is why we started this." And her husband Adrian also added this: "We've seen that something magical happens when people learn a new skill." I'm a huge fan of the show Shark Tank, and not only did they get a deal, but there was a bidding war between all of the sharks on that episode, and they ended up with a deal with Mark Cuban and Lori Grenier, who are now partners in the Woobles. On the Woobles website, you're going to find dozens of different beginner kits to choose from. They have simple designs like a dinosaur, a penguin, a fox, or a cat, but they also have licensed characters like Harry Potter, Snoopy, and Pac-Man, just to name a few. The prices for individual kits can vary anywhere between $25 to $45, and there are bundles where you can get a lot of different kits together that can be pretty pricey. Hey.
What?
You want to learn how to crochet?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. He's a beginner, right?
I have zero experience with crochet.
Can you raise your right hand?
Uh-huh.
Do you solemnly swear that you have never crocheted in your life?
I have never crocheted in my life.
Okay. All right.
I may have done like cross stitch when...
That's not the same thing.
30 years ago, so.
Okay, that's not the same thing. Okay, so what we're gonna do, this is the Woobles, and we're gonna see if this really will help an absolute beginner learn how to crochet. I've never worked with Woobles before. I've never gotten a kit, and so...
You're not teaching me.
I don't think so. I think the way this is, the way Woobles works, is that it's supposed to teach you how to crochet. So we're just literally going to find out everything all at the same time.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I don't even remember what I ordered, so let's see. Oh, yeah!
Oh.
I got the Harry Potter one.
Yeah.
There's Harry. Oh, and Dumbledore. These are so cute. Okay, it says on here that all materials are included, and it says for beginners. Everything is included. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead. I want you to open up your little Woobles kit here. All right. And I think the hardest part for me is going to be for me to just stay out of it. I want to see how this would be for an absolute beginner. So I'm just going to try to sit on my hands so that I don't...
Okay, let's see. Let's get all of our stuff out.
Okay, get all your stuff out. Okay, so we have some black yarn. Okay, that's very different yarn than...
Yellow yarn.
Some yellow. Okay.
Different colors here.
All right, so you're not getting full skeins. They're just giving you enough to work on your project, which is nice. It's very different. It reminds me a little bit of like a t-shirt yarn.
Stuffing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cats like that.
Stuffing. Okay, that's your little skin color here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
It's a Harry Potter crochet hook.
A Harry Potter crochet hook. That is adorable. Okay. Anything else in there? Oh. Okay. There's some stitch markers. Oh. Okay. There's a little surprise in here. A little surprise.
And the wee woobly bits.
Okay. So it comes with the wee woobly bits, and
I'm excited about this.
Okay, actually. So go ahead and open it, and let's just see what's in here. It feels like we're going to Hogwarts or something.
I know.
Okay. So what is this?
Oh, there's like a QR code.
Okay. Okay, so you get a little password QR code to be able to follow the step-by-step guide. So
or
that's
a website address if those who don't want to use that. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Meet
there's
Harry Potter.
Oh, wait, look. There's a needle.
Oh, okay. All right.
And there's safety eyes.
You get your safety eyes, a yarn needle. Okay, nice. Okay, so they give you 3 safety eyes, which is nice just in case something were to happen. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go to the website and see how all this works. What's nice is that you can choose right-handed or left-handed, which is great. And then go ahead and click on the Get Started.
With this kit, you're going to learn how to crochet, and in the process, crochet the chosen one, Harry Potter.
So what are you thinking so far? You've made your first stitch. What do you think?
This is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
I've seen you do this so much that I feel like I would be really terrible if I couldn't do it at all. This is really making it easy. I like how they're going really slow, step by step. So far, so good.
Okay, so far so good. My only issue is that I got to put my hands down because I want to be like, oh, and I have to step back and let him do his thing.
You've done good.
Okay.
So I have a problem.
We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So actually, I'm going to show you guys. So you might be able to see kind of what happened here. She has you working into the stitch with the stitch marker, which I understand why they're doing that, but he's gotten a little bit tangled up with the stitch marker. So you've made a stitch within the stitch marker.
Oh, okay.
So here's my dilemma. Do I just fix this? Because all I have to do is just reposition the stitch marker. Or
make me undo it and
you
fix
need
it.
to undo it and fix it. So what are you going to do?
I have no idea.
I want to tell you so bad.
Well,
okay, so she showed you what to do when you make a mistake.
You could pull it out and,
okay,
you could just basically frog it back, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's take this out.
Okay, yeah.
And then I just pull this and it pops out.
There you go.
It pops out.
There. Now you're back to ground zero.
Okay. Learning.
That was so hard for me to keep my mouth shut until he recognized that there was a problem. So do you need to watch the video to know how to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
And
so you need to get your hand. No.
No, I've got this.
Okay, sorry. I need to be quiet.
Yeah, I gotta hold it like this. And then, no, like that.
No.
No,
okay,
no. I have messed that up really bad. Wait, hang on. I had this a second ago. It was working just fine a minute ago. What did I do wrong? What have I done wrong? Like this.
There you go.
Yeah. Have my hand back. All right, so I'm going to follow along here.
You look very intense.
Now we're going to do what's called a yarn over.
I want to do it right.
So we had another little blip. It's fine though. It's just total beginner stuff, and you ended up doing what's called a slip stitch. So you did a stitch, just not a single crochet.
Just not the right one.
Just yeah, it's fine. It's really fine.
It's
you're doing a good job. It's just you literally just are not even finished making your second stitch. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, then put this back in. All right, then we'll tighten it back up. Yarn over again. And come all the way through this time? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
3, 4. And every time you make a stitch in this round, so let's count that. Starting from the one marked by the...
It's gonna come through here.
Now that little experiment is over, I can't wait to share my opinion about this. I loved watching my husband go from a total newbie to getting the fundamentals of learning how to crochet. That was an amazing thing to witness. Now, here are the pros, and there are going to be a few cons that you need to know about these cons. But let's go through the pros first. The kit comes with everything that you need to make the toy. So when you buy a kit, you won't need to go out and buy any extras. It comes with the stuffing, it comes with the yarn, it comes with the yarn needle, hook, everything that you need to create that little character. And I think that's fantastic. Second, the videos are extremely clear. Now, my husband got frustrated a few times because they were going a little bit slower than he wanted. Once he got the gist of how to make a single crochet, he wanted them to just move along. And I think that's a better problem than if the videos were going too fast and the instruction was just assuming that you understood what you were doing. So I like that it was very detailed and it moved slowly. And the thing that makes these Woobles kits different than any other crochet kit that came before it, now people may be copying it now, but in the beginning, no other crochet kit did this, is that when you get the little kit and you get your color yarn that you begin the project with, the magic ring is already done. And if you've never made an amigurumi toy before, you may not know that the magic ring is one of the most common ways that an amigurumi crochet toy begins with, and it's the most difficult thing to do. So it's genius that they included that. And they also included those stitch markers to mark the first 3 stitches so that you learned very easily where you need to put your hook. So I think that is such a great way for beginners to learn how to crochet and not have to try to learn how to make a magic ring first. That is genius. The other interesting thing about the Woobles is the yarn. It's called the Easy Peasy yarn, and it's very different than traditional yarn that you will find on the shelves of your local craft store. This is a cotton nylon blend, and it's more like a tube than it is traditional yarn. Traditional yarn are individual strands or plies, as they're called, that are twisted together. But this is not like that. And the reason why they made the yarn this way is so that beginners could easily see their stitches. They also wouldn't split their stitches when they were making single crochets, which you do with the Woobles. This was a genius move on their part because it gives the beginner a lot more confidence. They can see the stitches so clearly, clearer than you can with almost any other yarn. And there is a good amount of stretch with this yarn so that it feels really good in your hands and you're not worrying as much about tension issues. I think that's a great thing about this yarn because beginners struggle with tension a lot. They either are too tight or too loose. And that stretch with the Easy Peasy yarn, what is the word I'm looking for here? It eliminates some of those tension issues because there's that stretch, but it's fantastic for beginners. One of the most important things that I want to do in 2024 is to continue learning new things. And that's why I love partnering with Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. They have thousands of amazing creative classes in areas like crocheting, knitting, and sewing, just to name a few. What I love most about Skillshare is that the classes are taught by industry professionals. They're all online, so you can learn from the comforts of your own home, and they're all ad-free. And I've teamed up with Skillshare to create a learning path with 8 different crochet classes. And this is perfect whether you're an absolute beginner or you want to polish up your existing crochet skills. Whether you want to learn crochet fundamentals, learn how to make a granny square, start making accessories like fingerless mitts, or learn how to make your very first crocheted garment. These classes are taught by some of the best crochet designers out there, like Tony from TL Yarn Crafts and Lee Sartori of Coco Crochet Lee. And what's even better is that the first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Okay, now let's get to the cons because I have a couple of them. The first is that if you look at the Woobles as a beginner kit and you think, oh my goodness, I'm going to spend $40, $30, $35 on a beginner kit, that's very expensive. But you can't really look at the Woobles as a beginner kit. It's more like a beginner course. And then if you think, oh, I'm paying $40, $35, $40, $45 for a beginner course, then that makes more sense because the Woobles really is a course, not just a kit. But here's the part that I want you to know. I got really concerned when I was working with this kit because I was feeling a lot of, well, here's what happened. My husband, love him to death, but he's a workaholic and he was not going to be able to take the time to finish the Harry Potter little toy. So I thought I'll just finish it for him. And plus I wanted to play around with the Woobles kit as well. So I was working on the little Harry doll and I was just feeling a lot of, let's just say this, it didn't feel great as I was crocheting. And I started thinking, is this the yarn or is this the hook? And the easiest thing to do was to grab a hook that I know I really love and try it and see how does this feel. So I grabbed my generic Hobby Lobby 4mm hook and I immediately noticed, oh wow, this is so much easier to use. And I even shared it with my husband and said, hey, try this and see if you notice the difference in these two different hooks when you're making those single crochets. He immediately noticed the difference as well. It's so much smoother. It moves in and out of the yarn very easily. So when I mentioned that to my husband, he said, hey, you know what we could do? So based on this observation that I had about the crochet hook, I was talking to my husband about it and he said, hey, we could look at these under this machine called a profilometer, which is sort of like, it's kind of like a microscope, right?
It has two things. It's a microscope and it's like a measuring device. It measures surface roughness. Like a needle on a record, it can give you a trace of how rough a surface is.
So we're going to look at the roughness of the different crochet hooks because now I've gotten super interested in knowing if that's really what I feel when I'm crocheting. So we're going to look at a couple of different crochet hooks under the profilometer and let's just see what the surface, the metal, what that surface looks like and if that correlates to what I see when I'm crocheting and how I feel like they're smooth or that they have drag. Okay, so we're looking at the Harry Potter hook right now.
Yes, and this is that trace.
What does that mean?
So this is the surface roughness and you have these two big giant peaks sticking up.
Okay.
So
what does that tell you?
That means it's really, really rough. This is a pretty big scale. Let's make it even bigger. I mean, it's over 400. These are just massive.
Okay, so basically that's saying that the surface is rough.
This looks to be very rough. See how right here? That's what you would kind of expect for a normal surface roughness, that variation. These big spikes, that's very irregular.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to test out. So I want to show everybody. We're doing the Harry Potter hook right there. And now we're going to go on and we're going to test out the generic. This is just the generic Hobby Lobby hook. And let's just see what happens with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're putting the generic Hobby Lobby hook under there. Holy moly. For reals?
For reals.
Wait.
Yeah.
But wait, I think the other one was closer in, wasn't it?
That's the same scale.
Are you serious?
That's the exact same scale for both.
Okay, so what are you seeing with the generic Hobby Lobby?
It's way smoother, way more uniform.
Okay, so when I'm crocheting and I feel, wow, it's so smooth, it really is because it's smoother.
Yes, well, I mean, you had me test it out. I tried both of them. I could feel the drag difference, and that's what made me think, it's got to be surface roughness, and it's 100% surface roughness.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is the microscope showing the surface of the generic Hobby Lobby crochet hook.
Mm-hmm. That's not too bad. I mean, you can see it looks pretty smooth.
Yeah.
All right, now let's just swap to the Harry Potter one real quick.
Okay.
And see. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we didn't even need the profilometer for this one. We could have just used the microscope.
Wow, it's just it's a really, really bumpy surface.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so where's your other ones you want me to look at?
Okay, he's saving the data from these two. So now I want him to test 2 other crochet hooks. I want him to test the Clover Amour, and I want him to test the Furls Odyssey. I've always loved the Furls Odyssey. It is no longer available. They discontinued it, but that is the smoothest crochet hook I have ever used in my life, and I really want to see how it compares. Okay, so this is testing a Clover Amour. This is, gosh, I think this is a 1.5 millimeter. I mean, it's teeny tiny, but my husband says this one looks really, really smooth.
I'm going to zoom it all the way in to the whole other level because this thing is so small.
Okay.
But it looks so smooth from the beginning. Oh yeah, look at that. This one's small, but you can see right there.
Okay.
Right where that angle thing is.
Yeah.
You can see the smoothness.
Okay. Okay, so we got the Clover Amour. This is a 4 millimeter, so it's just going to be easier to do with the Profilometer, which is different than the microscope.
Yeah. Nice.
What does it mean that it's going down in the blue like that more?
Definitely smooth. You notice how it's not as shiny
Yeah.
as the other ones?
Yeah.
That's all this little bit right here. You notice how the other one was way smoother. They didn't have all these little jaggedy lines.
Yeah.
And it was more polished looking. That's the difference. This one is actually very smooth. There's not a lot of roughness overall, but it just has these little wigglies in there. So that will be interesting to see. Let's look at it under the microscope, and then we can put the microscope on it, and we should be able to see exactly that. It is flat.
Yeah.
It doesn't have those. It doesn't have a bunch of white peaks like the other one did. But you see that there's that little bit of dappling to it, or rough. It's that.
Yeah.
It's like micro roughness.
Okay.
That's the difference. It's not as shiny as the other one.
Okay.
That one that was the smoothest one that you like the best, that would be obviously the...
That's the Hobby Lobby one is the smoothest thing.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to try the Furls Odyssey. Okay, so this is a Furls Odyssey.
Oh, wow.
Even I can see that. It's like a mirror.
It is absolutely a mirror. So let's go all the way in with the crazy high zoom. That's one of the smoothest surfaces I've ever seen.
Oh, really? No wonder I love the Furls Odyssey.
Yes. This is incredibly impressive. All right, I'm going to try to put the profilometer on this one because I would kill to have a measurement of something that smooth.
So, what do you think?
Super smooth. This is my hand wiggling here and there so you can ignore the two ends, but look at that in comparison to all the other ones.
Okay. So when we rank them, that's the most...
This is the smoothest.
That's the smoothest.
Right.
Then this is from smoothest all the way to the most rough. And that's the Woobles hook right there.
Yeah, which if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know any difference.
Right, you wouldn't know that it was not very smooth.
I didn't know.
Until I had you try it, and then you were very surprised that, oh wow, this is so much smoother. It's going in a lot easier. There's not as much pull and drag and all that.
Yeah. Who knew that tribology would apply to crochet hooks?
Is that tribology?
Oh, this is absolutely tribology.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our worlds collide. I'll make you laugh.
So I want to hear, first of all, your thoughts about the Woobles first. And then I want to hear what your thoughts about crochet in general.
Sure. The instructions the Woobles had were really good. That made it really easy to do. It was like, oh, I can see the hands really clearly. It was slow enough that it wasn't too fast for me. So by the time I had done it a few rounds, you know, it was like, oh, okay, this is going. Yeah.
What did you think about crocheting in general?
I actually kind of liked it. To be honest, if I had like a week off, like we were going to the beach, this would be something I would actually try to do because it seemed kind of fun. I've seen you do it so many times, and I was like, oh, I kind of get that it's not mindless, but there is something calming and kind of like I'm creating something. It was surprising.
And are you going to finish the Harry Potter?
No.
No.
No, I have no time for that.
No. So I'm going to finish the Harry Potter amigurumi toy for him. Oh darn, I'm going to have to finish it. Was that not the most interesting thing? So if I was someone who wanted to crochet the Woobles, I think the kits are fantastic. If you wanted to take it to the next level and you wanted this to be the most perfect beginner experience, I would go and I would buy a Clover Amour 4mm crochet hook. And I would use that instead of the one that the Woobles kit comes with. That's just what I would do. The Woobles crochet hook is fine, but the Clover Amour is a much better quality hook. And beginners can do themselves such a favor by getting super high quality materials. I was a little disappointed that they put this one in there. It looks great, but when you look at it under a microscope and a profilometer, you can see that the metal is not smooth. And I think that that's a detriment to beginners. So that's just my 2 cents. I still love the kit and I think it's fantastic. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that you found some value in my husband and I deep diving into the minutia of a Woobles kit. I had so much fun with this and I hope that it inspired you to pick up your crochet hook and make something magical today. And make sure to click the link in the description box below to get your 1-month free trial of Skillshare.